One of the drawbacks of going to regattas with lots of photographers all shooting on digital is that essentially everyone takes the same picture. And one of the beauties about shooting on film is the moment you bring out a film camera, you know you're going to get something different. You just get a fantastic sort of evocative, authentic result shooting on film that you don't really achieve sometimes on digital. So, big question, why shoot on film? What's lovely about film is that it has imperfections. You get vignetting around the corners, the focus can go in and out slightly. You get quite nice flare sometimes if you're shooting into the sun. Ultimately, because we're photographing Victorian boats, photographing on film gives a really authentic result, and that's what I was looking for. The problem with digital sometimes is it's almost too good, it's too perfect. So I've just got back from Scotland. I've been photographing at the Fife Regatta, one of the rarest regattas on the classic circuit. Since 1998, there've only been 5. I've been to 4 of them. The first one I went to was in 2003, and I decided about 3 or 4 months ago that I was going to shoot the whole thing on film, which is quite an unusual thing to do these days, in the digital world. The reason I wanted to do it was 3 or 4-fold really. The beauty of the Fife Regatta is that some of the rarest, most beautiful yachts designed by William Fife come back to Scotland, and they actually race in the waters on the Clyde where they were designed and built. This year was the biggest collection of yachts ever to compete in this particular regatta. I think there were 23 in total. The quality of the yachts on display, just remarkable. Mariquita, Kismet, Moonbeam 4, Mikado, the Lady Anne. These are the most beautiful, most famous yachts in the world. Mariquita is a 19 metre. Probably needs about 24, 25 people to sail successfully. Then there were some little boats. There was one in particular called Lotus, just 2 or 3 guys on board, and I actually did get one picture where Lotus was going upwind with her spinnaker up, and Mariquita was beating the other direction. So you've got these vast boats, huge, great things, sailing in the same waters as tiny little boats, little day boats. The reason for shooting on film, I think the biggest reason was, the Fife scene dates back to the 1880s, the 1890s, pre-digital. There are some wonderful photographs taken by very talented Glaswegian photographers from that period, and it just seems to me that it suits film. You've got the flat water, you've got the beautiful creamy sails, the varnish work, dramatic clouds, beautiful mountains behind, and film, black and white film, just gobbles that up. It just loves it. So it was a creative decision to go back to shoot on film. Now, I'm old enough to have been brought up on film, so in a way I'm going back to what I started doing when I was in my early 20s. So the beauty of shooting on film is you have to do it differently. On digital you can just fire away, you're on an SD card, you can maybe do 1,000 pictures a day. If you did that on film, you'd be bankrupt within about a week. So you have to work in a more measured way, you have to ration the amount of photographs you're taking, and that's no bad thing because you're working harder on the composition, you're thinking about the photographs you're taking, you're probably planning what you're going to do in advance. There were lots of other very well-known marine photographers there, Nico Martinez, Franco Pacci, Den Phillips, and they all thought I was bonkers. They were like, Ben, you're mad shooting on film. It's so expensive. Shooting on film is it's very different from shooting on digital. On the Hasselblad camera, you have 12 exposures on one roll of film. So, it takes a while to load the film up, it takes a while to take it out of the camera. So you have to be very vigilant about when that's going to happen, because you don't want to miss anything. And obviously you're rationed. I mean, this film is super expensive now. I mean, it's eye-watering how much this whole process has cost. From buying the film, upgrading my film cameras, processing the film, contact sheets, prints, it's mega. And the other thing is you don't get any instant feedback while you're going along. I mean, on a digital camera, you can look in the back of the camera, you can download it onto a laptop, and you know that you're in the money. When you're shooting on film, not only have to trust yourself and the exposures that you're making and the composition, but you also have to trust the camera that's working. So there's quite a lot of jeopardy. So, but that's, in a way, that's what makes it fun. And you get to the end of the week and you've got a big bag of film and you take it off to the processing, and it's a totally different way of working. But it was really great to go back to that, because that's how I started. So finally, I mean, the other lovely thing about shooting on film, which you don't get with digital, is that there's a big process after the shoot. You have to take your film to be developed, and that's it's quite a performance. You don't do it all in one go. You ration it out. Probably takes 3 or 4 days to get through the 50 or 60 rolls of film that I shot, and then you get the lovely negatives, and then the contact sheets to mark up. So there's a real process to it, and it was lovely to go back through that. And then the editing is very different, because you don't have them up on the screen. You have to do it sort of in an analog, physical way, marking up the contact sheets. But really the highlight is when you've selected the edit, so to speak, and we chose probably about 36 from the whole shoot, is going back into the darkroom and then seeing the prints coming up in the developer. It's a real thrill, and that's the magic of photography. So I'm absolutely thrilled that Trowbridge just commissioned this work, that we did the shoot exclusively on film. No one else has got any pictures, anything like these. And we put a lot of work into selecting them and producing them in these beautiful frames. So I hope you enjoy looking at the photographs, and there's absolutely no doubt that I'm going to continue to photograph on my film cameras.